This year, I will admit, has not been my best year with C-dramas. And when I say C-dramas, I really mean straight C-dramas, right? So I watch the BL dramas just fine. But when it comes to actual C-dramas that are straight, like boy-girl romance, I have not been as active watching those. And I will say the same goes for Korean drama or Japanese drama. I just haven't been watching a lot of like what you would consider straight dramas, right? And I have to use those terms because now that there is something that I watch that is not necessarily straight or heterosexual, I have to make that distinction. And so yeah, I have not been watching as many of that. And part of that is just because there's been so many BL dramas that were released in 2025 that I have been bombarded with, that I just have no time to check out all these amazing Chinese dramas and Korean dramas that I've been hearing. And I am at fault for that. It's my fault. But honestly, I usually give a drama, no matter what it is, a good 3 episodes before I decide that I'm done with it, right? And so a lot of the dramas that I've tried to watch, be it C dramas or K dramas, straight dramas that is, right? I always struggle within the first 3 episodes and it's never able to hold my attention. And then another thing about like actual straight dramas is that they are a good 45 minutes long. They are a good 50 minutes long, 1 hour long. And honestly, I think my attention span is just short, be it from TikTok or just for BL dramas that are usually 20 minutes long, that I cannot focus on like a 40-minute, 1 hour long episode anymore. And so I tend to like lose interest very quickly. But honestly, I have found one that is a gem. I have found one that's held my attention so far, and I have found one that I look forward to watching every evening, and that is the C drama Yummy Yummy Yummy. I knew I was gonna check it out because Lee Yun-rae is in it, and I am a huge fan of him coming from Blossom because I love that drama so much, and that was like my reintroduction to him. And I also even knew like the female lead from another drama, When Destiny Brings the Demon, which was my first time actually seeing her. And I remember thinking that she had very good facial expressions, and I was very like pleasantly surprised, and I enjoyed her performance. So I was like, actually this is a good set of leads. But honestly, I thought if I'm being honest, that I would not like it. I thought I would drop it in the first 3 episodes because honestly the poster doesn't give me much to work with, right? And so I really thought it wasn't going to be the one for me. But to my pleasant surprise, I have now been watching this for the past few weeks, and every night I'm feeling this is what I watch because it's just that good. Like it's, I don't know, it's a lot of things, and it does what it's doing so well that I have to give it props. It managed to catch my attention, and it's just the best. So if you don't know what this drama is about, basically this story follows the Shen family who accidentally time travel into the like historical era, specifically Yong'an City, right? And while they are there, they encounter Linian, who is this royal official. What makes Linian special is that Linian is supposedly their ancestor, right? We see that in the first episode that they are basically bowing to him, and it's because of him that they exist, right? And so it's very comical because they come in contact with this person that they recognize as being one of their like ancestors, right? And so a lot of how they relate to Linian is from a very like reverent point of view, whereas Linian has no idea like why these people are acting this way. Half of the people that are bowing to him, mainly the mom and the dad, right, are older than he is, so it makes no sense from his point of view, right? Now because they are stuck here, a huge thing they're trying to do is find a way back, right? That's kind of like the plot of the first half of this, where like they're actively just trying to find a way back, right? And everything they do is towards that. By the second half, they kind of pivot and they're okay kind of with staying and, existing and experiencing this new world and just accepting that they will be here till the day they die, right? Part of why they're able to accept this is because they have time traveled to the historical era where like a lot of like cuisines are not yet discovered, and this is a family of like chefs, this is a family of cooks, right? Their main job is cooking, so they are able to kind of sustain a living and have a lot of things that they would not have in the present time because everything that's discoverable has been discovered by 2025, right? So it's in their favor and advantage to remain in this historical era. And so it's watching all this and watching them deal with like the local culture and kind of patriarchy and things like that as well, that makes this story, right? And then you add on top of that that, like, that our female lead, who is the daughter in the Shen family, is going to fall in love with Lin Yan, who is her ancestors supposedly, right? It adds that element, right? So that's basically what this drama is about. And I have to say, it's a very good premise, and it caught my attention very quickly, especially when they meet Lin Yan. Like, them meeting Lin Yan and how they treat him at the very beginning is just hilarious and funny to watch. A huge reason why I like this drama is how amazing the Shen family itself is. Like, that family unit themselves, right? The mom, the dad, the brother, sister, granddaughter, that unit of five, right? They are such a comedic unit, right? Like, as a whole family, they are just hilarious, and they play off the different characteristics that each person has, right? So, like, for example, our female lead, Xiaoguang, is like the smart one in this family. She's the brain, where like her brother Xiaojie is like the dumb one, right? And Xiaojie obviously inherited his dumbness from his dad, Jianxie, right? And kind of the mom is a lot like Shagang. She's also like realistic, and she is really grounded and really there to kind of temper the two men that are just like foolishly inadequate in a lot of ways and would not be able to survive realistically in this world without the women in the family, right? And then we also have the granddaughter, right? So it's a very like interesting dynamic that they are playing off, and we get the view of Lin Yan, seeing how he relates to them, because from his point of view, like, they are just a mess. Like, they are simultaneously weird but also non-threatening, right? And you also come to find out that they are just really good people, and that's kind of where that found family, I think, element even comes in, where like Lin Yan, for example, becomes part of their family. Same with the slave girl Ayuan, that they kind of bring in, become part of that family, right? And it's seeing Lin Yan that has nobody. I mean, his parents are dead, and seeing him find warmth with these people, that's kind of, I think, part of what makes this so touching to me. Like, there's just something about watching someone realize that, oh, they have people they can rely on, that is very nice, right? And so that's kind of what this family brings to this era, and I think Lin Yan is the one that benefits the most in terms of like just the emotional aspect and having those people by his side that are kind of chaotic but good chaos, and chaos that it needs to like take his mind off a lot of things, right? And so Lin Yan actually comes to trust them very quickly after like his initial apprehension about them, right? After his initial doubts, because he could genuinely see that they just really liked eating, making food, and doing stupid stuff, right? And that's kind of fine with him. So even though ideally he should for example, investigate Xiaoguang being his fiance, right? Ideally, he should investigate that. And in fact, Prince Zhao, right, his benefactor, asks him that, did you go like investigate when they told you this? And he's like, no, right? And it's almost like, why wouldn't you do that? And I think part of that is that after a while, he just like dropped his guard and trusted them immediately, right? And started to trust them, right? And so that is one element that I like. This family is a genuinely good family, that when they come across someone that needs help, they are able to like kind of give that like support and that assistance. And so that is kind of nice to watch, right? And another aspect that I really like about this is the female lead and the male lead, right? The female lead, Xiaoguang, is, like I said, the kind of brains in this family, right? She's the one that is really thinking this through. She's the one that had the different ideas of how they will get back to their time. And so even when they decide they are not going, she's the one kind of that struggles with that, and realizing that she's kind of never going to like get back to the like future. And I really like how they put that in there, by the way. Like, he made her like a grounded character in the sense that like I like seeing one person kind of grieve the future that they know, right? Grieve the things that they used to know and realize that they're kind of helpless staying where they are, right? And so I'm glad we got to see that. I'm glad they kind of grounded her character in that sense that, like, yes, she's with her family, and yes, everything seems good. They can make money here, but, like, this is still not technically home. And so it's been nice to see how she had that journey. And I'm glad they put that in there. For the male lead as well, I think the male lead is interesting. Really, because you kind of see how ahead of his time he is, right? And that obviously has to happen, because if the female lead is going to fall in love with someone, it's not going to be somebody that, like, has a, like, ancient mindset, right? Because that just makes no sense given the context of today. So, a lot of times when the female lead is talking to the male lead, he will say something that's so, like, ahead of his time that she's like, oh, I'm surprised that you think that way. But I think part of that comes from just the goodness of the male lead. And as someone that's gone through a lot, I think he sees things in a fair way. And so that's kind of what informs his personality as well, right? So, that's why they are able to fall in love. That's why the female lead is able to, like, come to, like, love the male lead, right? And I like that they put that in there, because oftentimes I struggle in dramas where the leads will fall in love and you kind of don't know why they like each other. Like, here you can kind of, like, almost be sure that the male lead is, like, one of a kind. There are not going to be many like him, right, in this era, right? That does not think, women need to, like, sit home and, like, give birth and stuff like that, right? So I think it's nice that we see kind of moments where even the female lead realizes that, oh, the male is actually, like, a golden egg kind of thing. Like, he's a unicorn kind of a character, right? And so it's very nice. Same for, like, the male lead, like, falling in love with, like, the female lead. I think just her goodness, how strong she is, how supportive she is something that is always craved, right? And so, they just get along so well, right? And ideally for someone like him, she's perfect, right? And so it's actually been kind of sad to see their conflict, and I understand the female lead's conflict in the sense that while this is not incest, it is still weird that you like somewhere that's supposedly your ancestor. Obviously, my theory is that she is the ancestor, maybe somehow, because, like, the ancestor, like, that was supposed to marry Linian, right? Like, the person that married Linian to make their branch in history was a Shen, like, her last name was Shen, and that is also their last name, right? That's the name they've taken. So I do wonder if she's the one, and it's just this weird loop paradox thing of, like, she already exists and so she can exist, like, and that's my guess. Either that or it's not Linian that's the ancestor. That's the only two things I can think about, right? But yeah, I get the female lead, and I get why she's having that struggle, and it's a more valid, like, struggle to have and conflict to have, because he is, like, to our best knowledge, her ancestor, right? So it would be weird, right? So I feel for them, and I understand the female lead's character as it stands now, why she's not willing to, like, pursue that. And it's just what it is until they can kind of figure out how to, like, move away from that, or there is some secret revealed. Because I don't think this would pass censorship if he was an ancestor, right? Does that make sense? Like, China, I think the production would not have passed. So I think that they were gonna find a way around that. But yeah, that's kind of what I have to say about their characters. And yeah, another thing that I like about this drama, just on a general note, is that there's not that much conflict. Majority of this drama is just watching this family, like, be fish out of water. Like, they are in a foreign place, they are new to this land and just figuring out how to survive. Thankfully they have Linian there to kind of, like, buffer them from any, like, villains that they have, because he is, like, rank is pretty high up. But yeah, I kind of like how this is just, like, mostly food food vlogging, and them talking about food, and them trying to, like, do their restaurant and make a business out of that. And it's not really conflict driven, it's very slice of lifey, which is kind of my favorite, like, genre. Along the way they pick up a few people that they help, along the way they meet interesting people, and just generally the tone of this is very light, and I just love that. Really only Linian's, like, backstory is like the biggest point of like possible conflict, right? Other than that, like we don't really have that much. And honestly, I love it like this. And I think that's part of why this drama is easy to watch and I love it so much, right? It's just so light. And I appreciate that. So yeah, nothing really bad to say about this. We don't have that many episodes left as of the time of my recording of this review. And honestly, so far it's great, and I am sure because the pacing and the like, just the story has been good so far. I think they are going to like be able to bring this home and have like a really good cohesive story. So I do wonder how it will end, but I have some faith that they will be able to stick the landing with this. So yeah, that's really all I have about this drama. So far so good. I love it so much and I recommend it if you need something just light to watch. It's so good, and just watching the family shenanigans is everything. So yeah, that's all I have in this episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your week, and I'll see you guys again next week. Have a lovely one. Bye.